Welcome to the course Time Value of Money, Concepts and Calculations. This lecture is devoted to the introduction of this course. The present massive open online course objectives are to illustrate basics of mathematics of finance, that is time value of money. It is one of the basic theories of financial management. The time value of money, or in short TVM, is based on the idea that money available at the present time is worth more than the same amount in the future due to its potential earning capacity. In a lighter way, we can say that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. This core principle of finance holds that provided money can earn interest and inflation is 0, any amount of money is worth more the sooner it is received. This may sound simple, but it underpins the concept of interest. The time value of money is impossible to ignore when dealing with loans, investment analysis, capital budgeting and many other financial decisions. It is a fundamental building block that the entire field of finance is built upon. For example, if given a choice between receiving rupees 100 today or rupees 100 a year after now, you should take the money today. Let us analyze why. Because you could invest that 100 and even if you only earn a 8% annual return on your investment, you still would have 108 rupees a year from now. Obviously, more than rupees 100 you would have received if you have waited. If you did not invest that 100 at all, but simply spent it, you should still be better off. Because of inflation, the rupees 100 usually will have more buying power today than in the future. Clearly, the first option is more valuable based on two fundamental concepts. One, higher purchasing power, and second, better opportunity cost. Let us explain what is higher purchasing power and what is opportunity cost. Higher purchasing power, because of inflation, rupees 1 lakh can be exchanged for more goods and services today than rupees 1 lakh in 100 years. Putting another way, just think back to what rupees 1 lakh could buy you 100 years ago. Rupees 1 lakh in 1916 would be equivalent to roughly rupees 50 lakh 50,495 today, that is in 2016, taking 4% interest rate. Now, the opportunity cost. A rupee received today can be invested now to earn interest, resulting in a higher value in the future. In contrast, a rupee received in the future cannot begin earning interest until it is received. This lost opportunity to earn interest is the opportunity cost. For these reasons, two fundamental principles of time value of money are: the one, more is better than less, and the second, sooner is better than later. Why is the time value of money so important in capital budgeting decisions? Time value of money is an important concept in financial management. It can be used to compare investment alternatives and to solve problems involving loans, mortgages, leases, savings and annuities, and thus affects financial decisions. Let me explain it through examples. Suppose we take example, consider a project that requires rupees 4 lakhs investment today, a negative cash flow shown in the diagram, and will return 1 lakh a year for the next 5 years shown by positive cash flow. On paper, it looks as if the project produces rupees 1 lakh profit, because I am investing 4 lakhs today and I am getting 1 lakh each year for 5 years, that amounts to 5 lakh. So, 5 lakh minus 4 lakh is 1 lakh profit, but those future cash flows must be converted to present value to know the actual profit. So, I cannot calculate the actual profit like this, I have to convert the future cash flows to present cash flow and calculate the profit. If it is does, then if the company uses a discount rate of 10%, the present value of those cash flows actually comes out to be 3,79,078.52, that is less than 4 lakhs cost. So, the project actually will lose money, though it appears that it is gaining about 1 lakh. However, if the company is using a discount rate of 5%, the present value is 4,32,947.66, meaning that the project is in profit. To decide between competing projects, time value of money can be used to decide between competing projects. Companies apply the time value of money in various ways to make yes or no decisions on capital projects, as well as to decide between competing projects. Two of the most popular methods are net present value and internal rate of return, or IRR. These methods are used to take the decision. In the first method, you add up the present value of all cash flows involved in a project. If the total is greater than 0, the project is worth going. The higher the net present value, the better is the project. In the IR method, you start with the cost of the project and determine the rate of return that would make the present value of the future cash flows equal to your upfront cost. If that rate, called the internal rate of return, is greater than your discount rate, the project is worth doing. The higher the IRR, the better the project is. Paying the bills. Another important factor in asserting time value of money is the level of debt you carry. If you have significant costly debt, it is more advantageous to get money in hand quickly. If you make payments on a 12% loan, generating revenue quickly can help you to expedite payments on the debt. This reality warrants strong considerations of investment with quick returns. Now, we talk about the concepts of time value of money. The purpose of this section is to introduce the concepts, terminology and the mathematics of the time value of money. Understanding of this is crucial for understanding all sort of solutions to financial problems in personal finance, investments, banking, insurance, etc. The concepts include why interest is charged, rate of interest and its role, timeline to show investment and receipts, number of periods, compounding and discounting, analysis of problems related to time value of money. Now, let us see the first one, why interest is charged. Interest is charged by lenders as compensation for the loss of the assets used and can be thought of as the price of money. If a borrower wants to spend more than his actual cash on hand, he will need to find someone to lend him additional funds. In the case of lending money, the lender could have invested the fund instead of lending them out. With lending a large asset, the lender may have been able to generate income from the asset, should they have decided to use it themselves. The interest rate charged to a borrower reflects the level of risk that the particular borrower might default on the loan and to compensate for inflation. Rate of interest and its role. Rate of interest is defined as the amount of interest earned by a unit of principal in a unit of time. It is usually expressed in percentage value like 5% or 10% interest rate per year. Further, interest rates are expressed for a unit of time or time period like per year, per 6 months or per day, etc. This figure shows that how interest rate grow the money. If you see, for I equal to 5, that is interest rate equal to 5, the growth is slow, and for I equal to 20%, the growth is faster. The time unit is usually taken as 1 year. For example, if rupees 100 were the compensation demanded for giving someone the use of rupees 1000 for a period of 1 year, the principal would be 1000 and the rate of interest would be 100 divided by 1000, which is equal to 0.1 or 10% per year. The timeline. Now, from example we will draw a timeline. Consider an example. Consider a project that requires a 4 lakh investment today. So, 4 lakh will be shown as a negative cash flow at 0 year and will return 1 lakh a year for the next 5 years. So, in the next 5 years you will find that we are showing positive cash flows 1 lakh each. The timeline is defined as a timeline is a graphical representation of the size and timing of the cash flows. Let us take a second example. In the picture above in the right hand side, you can easily see that the problem consists of a 5-year 100 annuity. So, in all the 5 years we are showing positive cash flows of 100 each and a rupees 1000 cash flow that occurs at the end of the investment. So, on 5th year we are showing 100 as well as 1000, 1000 is written at the top of 100. So, this is how the cash flows are shown in a timeline. Number of periods. Interest rate is always defined for a unit period of time. That unit period of time may be 1 year, may be half year, may be quarter of a year, may be month, day or hours. As shown in this figure, we have shown number of years and number of months, and at 0 year is considered to be today. Now, one thing you should remember that interests are always charged at the end of the time period. The total length of time the investment is held is given by number of time periods in a time value problem and is designated by capital N. Capital N may be number of years, capital N may be number of months, capital N may be number of quarters and capital N may be number of any defined time period. Now, let us consider the concept of discounting and compounding. Now, at time equal to 0, if I am investing some money, it will grow if I move to the future, and this is called compounding, and if I move to the past, then it will decrease, and this is called discounting. Compounding method is used to know the future value of present money, while discounting is a way to compute the present value of future money. Analysis of problem related to TVM, that is time value of money. Every time value of money problem has 5 variables. Variable number 1 is the present value called PV, then the future value FV, third variable is number of periods capital N, fourth variable is interest rate I, and the fifth variable is annuity amount, which is shown by PMT. In many cases one of these variables will be equal to 0. So, the problem will effectively have only 4 variables. We will always know the value of all the 4 except one variable, that is missing value, for which you have to solve the problem. Let us take an example to substantiate this. Suppose you invest rupees 1 lakh today at 8% compounded annually. What will this investment be worth in 4 years? Now, we do the analysis of this example. First of all, we know that our present value PV is 1 lakh, since this is what we are investing today. Next, the rate I is given to us as 8%. Third, the number of periods N in this problem is 4 years. So, that leaves 2 remaining variables out of the 5, payment of annuity amount and future value. These 2 we do not know, and out of these 2, in this case one is 0. Which one out of these 2 we do not know, while it was not explicitly given to us. We do know that the payment PMT in this problem is 0. Whenever payment is not explicitly given to us, it is implied that there is no payment. So, all that leaves us with is the future value component, which can be now easily be solved, because we have one equation and 4 unknowns, and out of this 4 unknowns 3 unknowns are known. So, one equation can be solved very easily for single unknown. Now, the different topics which will be included in this series of lectures on time value of money are interest rate. Interest rate is the amount charged expressed as a percentage of principal by a lender to a borrower for the use of his asset. Interest rates are typically charged on an annual basis, known as the annual percentage rate. The second topic is the simple interest. Simple interest is computed only on the original amount borrowed. It is the return on that principal for one time period. The third is the compounding techniques. In this compounding techniques, there are 3 subheadings: compounding annually, discrete annually compounding, and continuous compounding. Now, compounding is defined as, in this, interest is compounded when the amount earned on initial deposit, that is initial principal, becomes part of the principal at the end of the first compounding period. The terms principal refers to the amount of money on which interest is received. Now, the present value. Present value is an amount today that is equivalent to a future payment or series of payments that has been discounted by an appropriate interest rate. The future amount can be a single sum that will be received at the end of the last period, or as a series of equally spaced payments, an annuity, or both. Since money has time value, the present value of a promised future amount is always less. The future value. The future value is the amount of money that an investment with a fixed compounded interest rate will grow to by some future date. The investment can be single sum deposited at the beginning of the first period, or a series of equally spaced payments, or an annuity, or both. Since money has time value, we naturally expect the future value to be greater than the present value. Now, annuity. An annuity is a contractual financial product sold by financial institutions that is designed to accept and grow funds from an individual and then upon annuitization pay out a stream of payments to the individual at a later point of time. The period of time when an annuity is being funded and before payouts begin is referred to as the accumulation phase. For example, annuities are student loan payments, car loan payments, insurance, premiums, mortgage payments and retirement savings. Amortization. Amortization is a method for repaying a loan in equal installments. Part of each payment goes towards interest and the remaining is used to reduce the principal. As the balance of the loan is gradually reduced, a progressive large portion of each payment goes towards reducing principals. Perpetuities. Perpetuity is simple an annuity that continues forever, that is perpetually. The only difference between annuity and perpetuity is the ending period. For annuity, payments last for a certain period, whereas for perpetuity they continue indefinitely as represented by infinite. Cash flow. A cash flow diagram is a picture of a financial problem that shows all cash inflows and outflows along with timeline. It can help you to visualize a problem and to determine if it can be solved by TVM method. Valuation of bond. Valuation of financial asset bonds and valuation of shares, valuation of financial asset shares. Thank you.